The air smells of campfire, mixed with the sharp scent of fresh kumis and the sweat of tired horses. A wind howls, as relentless as eternity itself. It whips dust across the endless plains, seeping into every crack as if to test the strength of not just the yurt's walls, but the soul of every person inside. In this brutal world where the horizon dissolves into the sky, it's not uncommon for three people, two men and one woman, to gather together in a nomadic home. This isn't a place for tender confessions, passionate promises, or bouquets of wildflowers. There is only warmth, unity, and hard necessity. In the Mongolian steppe, everything, even the most private moments, plays out by a different set of rules. They're not searching for passion in the way we know it. They're seeking an alliance. Here, survival doesn't just create different laws, it forges entirely different forms of intimacy, built not on fleeting attraction, but on the age-old wisdom of the clan. While people in cities debate feelings and personal freedom, the nomads of Mongolia live by a strict code. If you're weak, if you're alone, you vanish. If you share, if you join with others, you survive. This is both their uniqueness and their strength. In their world, there's no room for romantic illusions. The pragmatism of the steppe rules all, dictating every action and choice. Every day is a fight for survival, and the freezing winds aren't seen as a hardship, but as the constant backdrop of their lives, a companion to generations. Women sew quietly, right out in the wind, their fingers nimble with a needle even inside thick fur mittens. Men disappear into the steppe for weeks on end, with no contact, no maps, and no guarantee of return, relying only on experience and intuition. They don't allow themselves weakness, they simply endure. From their birth, they share an unbreakable bond with nature. From their earliest years, they are part of the family's work. From their youth, they understand that they are responsible not just for themselves, but for the entire clan. The concept of ownership, as we understand it, just doesn't exist here. Free relationships between men and women weren't seen as promiscuous, but as an integral part of the social fabric. In some cases, a woman could welcome guests of her own choosing. It was called hospitality, but it carried a deeper meaning. A woman was seen as the guardian of the clan's lineage, not merely someone's wife. Her body wasn't property, but part of the great circle of life. In the steppe, what matters isn't ownership, but the continuation of the clan. If you think the woman in this harsh world is just a meek homemaker waiting for her man to return from the hunt, you couldn't be more wrong. A woman of the steppe isn't just a partner, she's the anchor of their entire world. While the men are gone, for a long time, far away, into the cold and the unknown, everything else rests on her shoulders. The home, the livestock, the tanning of hides, the making of clothes, upholding the traditions of hospitality, and, most importantly, making critical decisions. If disaster strikes, an unwelcome stranger, a blizzard, a wild animal, or some other threat, she is the first line of defense, showing courage and resilience. In Mongolian culture, there aren't the usual stages of maturity defined by age. Here, a woman comes of age through her actions, through her ability to take responsibility for her family. She sews clothes, helps cure hides, knows how to butcher meat, and, above all, can host guests and be the true master of her home. From a young age, girls learn to defend themselves, not for sport, but for survival. Physical and mental fortitude are crucial parts of their upbringing, because when trouble comes, there might be no one else around. If danger arises, a woman knows how to stand her ground for herself and her family. For them, independence isn't a goal. It's the very essence of their existence. A Mongolian woman doesn't wait around or plead. If she has to, she makes the first move. She approaches, she speaks, she proposes, even when it comes to the most personal matters. Here, taking initiative is about reading the moment, because life doesn't wait. What we might call jealousy is replaced by a deep-seated respect. If a woman chose someone, even for a short time, her choice was honored. Her husband didn't yell or pound a cable, her father didn't scold her. She could be a provider, a protector, a teacher, and a free woman, not because it's modern, but because there's no other way to survive here. A person's true worth here isn't measured by wealth, but by strength, endurance, and the ability to support the family. What matters is a strong body, a calm and steady character, and the skill to handle hardship. If a man is reliable, tough, and level-headed, then he might be worthy of being by her side. What we call love, they call something else, a decision made under the harsh terms of the steppe. The yurt, that ancient and incredible nomadic home, is nothing like a conventional house. It's not just a dwelling, but the center of all life, a symbol of the clan's strength and solidarity. From the outside, there are only thick felt walls and wooden frames against the piercing wind, but inside beats the heart of the clan. A hearth always burns in the center, its warm light filling the space with the scent of smoke and herbs. Animal hides are spread on the floor, and in one corner, food is cooking, its aroma carrying memories of generations. It's rarely truly warm inside, but no one complains. This isn't an exotic lifestyle, it's just life. Everyone in the family knows their job and does it with precision and focus. The men repair gear, dry meat, and prepare for the next journey into the steppe. There's no rush, but there's no idleness either. Everything is calculated. Everything serves the goal of survival. Sometimes a stranger appears on the horizon, slowly drawing closer. The elders go out to meet him, asking for neither his name nor his origin. He is invited into the yurt, seated by the fire, given a warm drink, and offered a place to rest. From that moment, he becomes part of the clan's life. A guest here is like rain after a long drought, welcome, special. The Mongols know how to host like no one else. Sometimes a guest stays forever. A woman might join the guest, perhaps the one who cooked the meal, or perhaps simply one who looked at him and made a decision. This isn't a scandal, it's a sign of trust. You are in our home, we have accepted you, so be with us completely. Spending the night in a yurt isn't just about sleep, it's about touching another world, one where there are no random acts. A guest staying the night isn't an act of infidelity, it's a woman's right. The decision was hers and hers alone. Her husband might go tend to the livestock and not even ask. The core principle was that everything was consensual and didn't create conflict within the family. Paternity here is a flexible concept. If a woman had another child, it was considered a gift to the entire clan, not a reason to search for a biological father. What mattered wasn't whose child it was, but who would raise them to be strong. A woman here makes her choice openly and doesn't hide it. Refusals were rare, as such offers were respected and taken seriously. Before marriage, there was no strict ban on intimacy if it was mutually agreed upon. Parents taught their children that the only things that mattered were the absence of deceit and violence. If the yurt's flap is open at night, it's an invitation. If it's closed, you don't enter. The yurt itself symbolized personal freedom, with its own internal divisions, a men's side, a women's side, a guest's area. But at night, everything could change. A quiet conversation, a movement near the hearth, the scent of herbs, these became signals of a meeting. No words needed, no pressure applied. If a man died, his wife would often join with his brother. This wasn't seen as betrayal, but as a way to keep the family intact and ensure everyone was cared for. Their relationship could become just as close as the one she had with her first husband. To harm a woman was to insult the entire clan. For cruelty toward a woman, a man could be cast out of the community or stripped of his rights to the communal lands. Freedom of the body was seen as freedom of the spirit. A woman on horseback with a bow and a satchel of food isn't just a picture, it's a normal part of life. She can face the challenges of the steppe as an equal. Here, things are simpler, more direct. If a woman deems you worthy, you'll know it immediately. She'll tell you, show you, invite you, and no one will judge. The bottom line is consent. Nothing else matters. You're a stranger? It doesn't matter. You're just passing through for a day? It happens. If you are respectful, open, and honest, you are welcome to stay. They don't expect grand declarations here. They value the moment. And if it happens, it's a joy, not a drama. Sometimes it's just for one night. Sometimes it's for a lifetime. There are stories of a woman staying with a guest until morning and never seeing him again. And then there are stories where a single night became the beginning of a strong new family.
In the world of Mongolian nomads, survival is the ultimate teacher. It shapes a culture where intimacy is not just love, but an alliance, where everyone, man, woman, guest, or host, becomes a pillar of support for all the others. Here, freedom and responsibility walk hand in hand, creating a unique way of life. The steppe teaches that true strength lies in unity and the readiness to face life with all its trials. This is how the Mongols lived for centuries, by their own laws, in harmony with nature, relying on family, clan, and respect for tradition. But times are changing. Today, many old customs are fading, as some of the younger generation moves to the cities for education and a modern life. It's a natural shift. Everyone seeks their own path. But out on the steppes, plenty of true nomads remain. They still live in yurts, raise livestock, and move from place to place. But now they do it with modern tools. Motorcycles, trucks, solar panels, and cell phones. So while some things fade and others change, the spirit of the nomad, of freedom and mutual support, is still very much alive in Mongolia. Modern life exists alongside ancient traditions. And as long as the steppe stretches on, as long as a lullaby is sung in a yurt, and herds graze under the open sky, the memory of what it means to be strong, free, and true to your roots will endure.